Do you feel like you're losing control of your life? Like you're just a pawn in a giant game being played by forces beyond your understanding? Well, you're not alone. There is a growing number of people who are starting to question who is really in charge and what is really going on. They're asking questions like, who controls the media? Who decides what we see and believe? Who's pulling the strings behind the scenes? And how can we take back control of our lives? It's no surprise that these questions are being asked. After all, we're living through unprecedented times. The world is changing at a rapid pace, and it can be hard to keep up. But instead of facing these changes head-on, many people are turning to conspiracy theories as a way to make sense of it all. Conspiracy theories offer a sense of order in a chaotic world, a belief that there's someone or something powerful controlling everything behind the scenes. And while conspiracy theories may provide some people with comfort and a sense of certainty, they can also be dangerous. They can lead to mistrust, paranoia, and even violence. It is important to remember that just because we do understand something does mean there is a secret plot involved. Oftentimes there are logical explanations for seemingly strange events. The Great Reset is a case in point. The Great Reset is a plan to address global issues such as poverty, inequality, and climate change by implementing policies that promote sustainability, inclusivity, and economic growth. However, some people have latched onto this idea and distorted it into a conspiracy theory. They claim that the World Economic Forum, W, is planning to use the COVID-19 pandemic as a cover to implement a new world order, one in which they would own everything and we would own nothing. They believe that the WEF is using fear and uncertainty to take away our freedoms and control our lives. But is there any truth to these claims? Let's find out. Welcome to my channel. In this episode, we will delve into the controversial topic of the Great Reset and explore the unsettling idea of a world where the WEF owns everything and you own nothing. Join me as we uncover the facts and separate them from fiction. Together, we'll navigate through the complex world of conspiracy theories and uncover the truth behind the WF's plans for the future. Don't forget to subscribe so you never miss an upload. Let's dive in. Part 1. The Great Reset. The Great Reset is an initiative launched by the World Economic Forum, WEF, in collaboration with leading global experts and policymakers. Its primary objective is to address pressing global issues and create a more sustainable and equitable future for all. Proponents of the Great Reset argue that by embracing innovative technologies and adopting more inclusive economic policies, we can create a world that works better for everyone. However, critics have accused the WEF of having ulterior motives, claiming that the organization seeks to exploit the global crisis to amass wealth and power at the expense of ordinary citizens. They allege that the WEF aims to create a totalitarian state where it owns all property and resources, and that it is actively working to erode traditional values and freedoms in order to achieve this goal. These claims have been fueled by a number of high-profile articles and videos that have circulated online, many of which have been viewed millions of times. As a result, the Great Reset has become a popular conspiracy theory among those who distrust the government and the WEF. They believe that the WEF is using the guise of the global crisis to implement its own radical agenda, which includes the implementation of digital currency, centralized bank accounts, and the elimination of private property. By promoting these measures, the WEF aims to create a world where it has total control over the economy and the lives of its citizens. Part 2. WEF owns everything. The notion that the WEF owns everything is a central tenet of the conspiracy theory surrounding the Great Reset. Proponents of this idea argue that the WEF is a secretive organization composed of a small group of unelected individuals who have amassed extraordinary wealth and power. They claim that the WEF uses this power to manipulate global events and control the world's economies to their own benefit. According to this conspiracy theory, the WEF's ultimate goal is to create a totalitarian state in which it owns all property and resources, and that its citizens are nothing more than slaves. This idea is often accompanied by anti-Semitic and anti-Masonic themes, with some people believing that the WEF is part of a larger Jewish conspiracy to dominate the world. Others believe that the WEF is secretly controlled by a group of Masons, who are using the organization to further their own nefarious goals. Part 3. You own nothing. The idea that you own nothing is another key element of the conspiracy theory surrounding the Great Reset. Proponents of this idea claim that the WEF is working to create a world in which all property and resources are owned by a small elite class, while the rest of humanity is left with nothing. They argue that the WEF is actively working to erode traditional property rights, and that it is using the courts and the legal system to seize property from its owners and redistribute it to itself. This conspiracy theory is often based on a misunderstanding of property law and the role of government in a free market economy. Proponents of this theory fail to recognize that property rights are not absolute and that the government has the power to take property for public use through eminent domain. They also fail to understand that the redistribution of property is a common feature of free market economies, and that it is not necessarily a sign of oppression or control. Part 4. Can people be happy when ownership, freedom, and privacy are taken away? The idea that people can be happy when ownership, freedom, and privacy are taken away is a disturbing one that has no basis in reality. Human beings are social creatures who need autonomy, control, and dignity in order to thrive. When these basic needs are taken away, it leads to misery, anger, and despair. Throughout history, we have seen what happens when people are denied the basic freedoms of speech, assembly, and religion. When governments suppress dissent and punish those who speak out against them, it creates a climate of fear and repression. In such an environment, people are forced to live in constant fear of the consequences of expressing their opinions and are unable to live their lives freely and openly. Furthermore, the erosion of privacy and the loss of personal autonomy can lead to a sense of powerlessness and disenfranchisement. When people are constantly monitored and their every move is tracked and analyzed, they lose their sense of individuality and become nothing more than data points in a vast database. This can lead to a breakdown in mental health and a loss of hope for the future. Ultimately, the idea that people can be happy when ownership, freedom, and privacy are taken away is a dangerous myth that can have dire consequences. It is a myth that should be rejected and challenged in order to protect the fundamental rights and freedoms of all people. Part 5. The goal of this New World Order. The goal of this New World Order is nothing less than total control. By taking away our ownership, freedom, and privacy, they aim to create a society where they can dictate every aspect of our lives, from what we eat to what we think. This is a world where dissent is crushed, and anyone who opposes the system is labeled a conspiracy theorist or worse. It's a world where we're nothing more than obedient workers and consumers, where we spend our days working for the benefit of the state and our nights consuming the cheap entertainment they provide us. But why would they want to do this? What's in it for them? The answer is power. Power to control, power to manipulate, and power to exploit. By taking away our ownership, they become the only ones who can provide us with the basic necessities of life. And when we become dependent on them for our very survival, they can wield that power over us. They become the puppet masters, and we become their puppets, dancing to their tune without even realizing it. Part 6. Is this future inevitable? No, this future is not inevitable. It's a choice we must consciously make every day. We must choose to hold on to our freedom, to protect our privacy, and to stand up for what we believe in. When we become complacent and allow them to take away our rights and our freedoms, one step at a time, then they will succeed. But as long as we remain vigilant and fight for our liberty, then they will not prevail. So what do you think? Do you think the WEF is trying to take away your ownership? Is the Great Reset just another ploy to gain more power and control? Let me know in the comments below. And if you liked this video, please leave a like and subscribe. It helps us continue our work. Also, check out our other videos. We have some really great ones that I think you'll enjoy. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.